Arturo Gomez. This is Lunchtime at the Oasis. With me in the studio are playwright Christine Adele and actress Laurel Patterson. And they are going to be part of a premiere presentation tomorrow afternoon at the Crossroads Theater, which is right there at the Five Points here at the historic Five Points District. And it's a play titled With These Hands, and it has to do about the life and times of the legendary Dr. Justina Ford, the baby doctor who delivered thousands of babies throughout her career and had such an important role as the only African American female doctor in the entire Rocky Mountain region. And her former home was donated to what is now the American Black Cowboy and History Museum right next to the Park and Ride on Downing Street here in the end of the Five Points District. Her bust is in the Park and Ride lot as well. Christian, Laurel, good afternoon, and thanks for coming down to Jazz 89 KUVO.
Good afternoon, Arturo.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Okay. Christian, since you're the writer of the play, the playwright, and you're from Texas,
yes.
Okay, how did you find out about Dr. Ford?
Well, I was approached by Jason Jans, who's actually the pastor at Providence Bible Church, and he's also on the board at the Black American West Museum. And he approached me about this story and said he felt like it was time that this story was retold in this community. And what a better time to tell it than Juneteenth, when we have 10,000 people down in the Five Points. We couldn't think of a better time than that to premiere the play and have Dr. Ford's story out there. So it was actually the museum's idea, and they approached me with it.
And so obviously you must have read about her and did some research, and I'm sure you were very pleasantly surprised with what you discovered.
Absolutely. There is quite a bit of research out there about Dr. Ford. I wish there was even more, and I hope that this play is a resource for those who want to research her in the future. There was one really strong biography by Joyce Losey that served as my primary source. And then also a beautiful thing about being in Denver, there's so many Ford babies that are still living that I was able to sit and chat with. I also talked with Dr. Renee Cousins, whose father, Charles Cousins, who's recently passed away.
May he rest in peace.
Yes. Yeah. She was able to give me insight about her family's experiences with Dr. Ford. And it was just remarkable to talk to her as an African-American physician and that lineage and that heritage that exists there. So that's been a great thing for to inform the story.
And Christian, just a little while ago, you told me that you met up with Danielle Betts, who had done a production on her many years ago. And in the cast was a Ford baby, none other than the former mayor of Denver, Federico Peña.
Wonderful. I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of Ford babies still around, including one that's heard almost every Friday night right here on KUVO, named after Dr. Ford, Justina Curley, better known as JC, Mama Cat, the senior citizen of the airways. She hosts Rockin' in Rhythms Friday nights from 6 to 8. She won't be here tonight. Rolando Garcia will be filling in for her, but our listeners are very well aware of who she is, and there's another Ford baby.
That's wonderful. And we want all the Ford babies and everybody else to definitely come see the play and see what it was like when they came into the world.
Okay, also with us this afternoon is Laurel Patterson, and I imagine you're portraying Dr. Ford?
Yes, I am. I play Justina Ford from age 10 to about age 79 in the production.
Oh, so there's going to be a lot of makeup on you. Because obviously they have to touch you up quite a lot to make you look elderly.
A lot of quick changes.
And are you a Denver product or?
No, I actually was born in Connecticut, but I was raised in Texas as well.
Oh, that's which answers my next question. So
and
you knew each other in Texas, is that it?
Actually, we met here. I met Laurel a few months ago when I saw her audition at the Denver Center Theater Company, and had to have her because she looks so much like Dr. Ford.
Right, she has a resemblance.
She does, and she's a remarkable actress. Okay. It takes quite a lady to play someone throughout their whole life. So
absolutely,
I've got the right lady for the job.
All right. Okay. And had you heard or knew of Dr. Ford previously?
Actually, I hadn't. When Kristen asked me, to come and read for the part, I, of course, tried to research her as much as I could and only found one book, the one by Joyce, the biography. And it was actually in the archive section of the Auraria Campus Library for some reason, because it's sort of a children adolescent book. So we're not sure why it was in the archive section, but I read through that and tried to, learn as much as I could about her. And as much as I started getting into it, it was amazing because I had never heard anything about this woman before and how unbelievable it was and the struggle that she went through. And that's something that, being from Texas, you kind of hear about the struggle in the South, but not really thinking about what people went through, at the turn of the century up here in the Rocky Mountains.
And were you able to acquire any footage or talk to people that maybe could have talked about her mannerisms or manner of speech or things to make your portrayal more authentic?
I didn't actually get to talk to anyone personally. We did visit the museum and got to talk to a number of people who knew a lot of information, and Kristen has done her research, in and through. So she's a great resource, first of all. But just, the women at the museum were very helpful in just being able to see where she practiced medicine and getting a feel for the kind of person she is just by the number of people she helped and, not just helping them medically, but as far as helping just providing coal and food and things like that for their families as well.
Yeah, it was more than just the medical part of her. She was a resource for counseling and advice and everything else. If you're just joining us, this is Jazz 89 KUVO. It is mid-afternoon jazz at the Oasis, and I have with me playwright Kristen Adele and actress Laurel Patterson. And With These Hands is a play that will debut tomorrow during the Juneteenth celebration. It's at the Crossroads Theater right at the 5 Points heart of the 5 Points district. It'll also be encore performances on Sunday the 28th and the 5th of July at 3 p.m. Saturday shows tomorrow. There's a noon matinee and a 3 p.m. show, and this is about the most important historical figure and a Denver icon, Dr. Ford, the baby doctor, as she was nicknamed amongst other monikers. And Kristen, there is a website for our listeners to get special information about pricing and things.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. They can go to www.blackamericanwestmuseum.com or www.denvercrossroads.com.
Any possibility of perhaps this stage production eventually becoming a film or a documentary?
Oh, we would absolutely love that, especially now that we have our connection with Mr. Betts. We would love to take this further and have this story be portrayed for larger audiences across the world.
There you go, because I think that's something that's very important, not only for us here in Denver, the Front Range, and Colorado, and throughout the Rocky Mountain region, but this is something worthy of being told throughout the United States and the world, because it's definitely an inspiration, and she can serve as a role model for many young ladies coming up today where, we need some kind of aspiration to reach towards.
Definitely.
Of course.
And have back to you, Laurel, a minute. What are some of your other experiences on the stage?
My most recent one, I just finished doing Crazy for You with Performance Now Theater Company. And the other company that I've worked with quite a bit is the Platte Valley Players up in Brighton. And we did the Trip to Bountiful a couple months ago.
Well, very good. Well, we hope that you two young ladies will collaborate and collectively and singularly bring us a lot more edutainment, education and entertainment combined, because this is what it's all about. I mean, it's great to go out on the dance floor and shake our booties, but sometimes we need a little stimulation between the ears as well. Absolutely, while we're having fun.
That's right.
So thanks a lot for what you're doing. I look forward to tomorrow. I'm at the booth for KUVO throughout the Juneteenth festival. I won't be able to attend either one of those, but I know that either the 28th or the 5th of July, my face will be in the place over at Crossroads Theater, because this is something I don't want to miss. When I came to Denver a few years ago and learned of the story of Dr. Ford, it was something that I shared with my daughter and granddaughters as an inspiration to them. And when they came to visit me here in Denver, I took them over there, and they left, quite thrilled with what they had seen. So I'm sure other audience members, when they find out, they'll leave feeling better than when they walked in.
That's definitely the hope.
Okay. Well, we'll continue here on Jazz 89. We're going to listen to a former Raylette. Her name, Cynthia Scott. Her debut as a leader is Dream for One Bright World. And we're going to hear a very inspirational gospel-y take on the song title that she wrote, Vision on High, on Jazz 89.
Listen from the heart